Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Bebe Kumi. And today, on this wonderful episode, on a Monday, I'm sitting here right next to me with Miles Mercera. How
Thank
are you,
you.
man?
I'm doing good. Shout out to everybody watching. It feels great to be finally that we can do it.
Yeah.
We postponed it a few times, but it's great
Exactly.
to be back and so great to be able to participate.
For sure. Thank you for giving me a little time in your busy schedule because you're up and down to Bonaire to Curacao. So it's really nice to have
Yes,
you.
thank you.
No problem. Let's start first. Who's Miles?
Kenta Miles. Miles is I would say, still a young professional,
Yeah.
even though sometimes I consider myself pretty old, but I'm still a young professional. I'm still 34, so I'm still in the bracket of being a millennial.
Yeah.
And I'm a dreamer.
Yeah.
I'm a person that believes in greatness, not only for me but everything around me, from people to things. Everything needs to have a level of greatness to it. But also, I think from my side, I'm a person based on of a foundation of love.
Yeah.
I most of the time I always ask myself, okay, when are you really angry? I never get angry, or I
Yeah.
never really that something that maybe something might irritate me, but it doesn't really get me angry. So those are, I think, the qualities from who I am. But on the same side, I'm a person that's very loyal in the sense of I take care of the ones around me and
Okay.
I protect. I'm a
Yes.
protector as well. I'm a doer. I'm an extrovert, so I get energy off of people. So
Gotcha.
I'm not the one that loves to be the whole day by myself watching Netflix. I would need somebody in a room to talk to. I would need somebody to give me energy. So I'm the type of person that will most probably always be surrounded by people,
Yeah.
and that is basically my go-to for energy in life and for prosperity in life. And people is the element of people in my life is very, very important.
That's great. That's
So
great.
that's me in a
That's in
nutshell.
a nutshell. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Before we continue, let's cheers to a little sip of rum. Cheers.
What type of rum is this?
This is San Pablo 8 local rum, so it's really nice. A little on the sweet side, but it's really good for cocktails and sipping.
It's pretty sweet indeed.
Right?
Shout out to San Paulo.
So they have three lines. It's from 8, 12 to 15. The 15 is more smoother, but I feel like the sweetness for right now is really good too.
It does hit.
Yeah, it hits. So like everybody knows the story behind Miles and everything, but for this podcast, I really want to enter the Horeca food and beverage, let's say, concept of your mindset, because you pretty much you are food and beverage, you are tourism for Curacao, still is, but now Bonaire, you're trying to like raise the bar really high there. So how did it all started? Because you had like a podcast also, and you talked
Yes.
about how everything started and everything going. So I really want to get to know how did it start to for the love for like tourism and food and beverage and for this industry actually.
Well, it started when I was very, very young. I was very fortunate that I had a family, and especially my father, that traveled a lot for work. And so, based on my growing up and seeing my father traveling and having those old ticket boarding passes and coming home with it, that was to me like the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And the moment I stepped on a plane or walked into a hotel or a bar or restaurant, I got some kind of energy that I knew since I was, I think, 11 or 12, that, oh my God, like this is the place where I have to be. So I always had a dream. It started out with owning my own restaurant, becoming a top chef. Then I had a dream, and it's all a combination of a tourism professional,
Yeah.
owning my own hotel, becoming a general manager, and those dreams together with the possibility that I could travel with my father and my parents, from the basic things, going to Aruba and Curacao or
Yeah.
going to this Disney World, whatever it was to me the motivation, like, okay, this is it. So when I was 16, I knew that my future lied in tourism.
Yeah.
I made a conscious decision that I would want to study in tourism. And back then, I was then 15, almost 16, and I had finished Mavo.
Okay.
And right now it's called
VSBO.
VSBO.
Yeah.
It's not my generation, but it's called Mavo. I was the last one, I think, to graduate from Mavo.
I think so, yeah.
And then I had the opportunity to do my associate's degree in hospitality and tourism management in Aruba, which is the old Bushiri school. Now it's part of APE in Aruba. So then I moved from Bonaire, where I grew up, and to Aruba, and I lived there and I worked and then also studied as my first introduction to the real aspect of tourism.
Okay.
Before that, when I was 15, I did work for a year as a restaurant waiter, and I enjoyed it. I just saw it as some extra money. But it was, to me, the foundation of the real thing that happened was in Aruba, where I got exposed to the biggest tourism industry that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So many hotels, so many things happening, and that to me really formed me to the professional that I am today on understanding of tourism, but also giving it your best shot to really be able to grow within the chain of tourism.
For sure. And I feel like Aruba has it almost really much down to service and hospitality in it as well, right?
Yeah. That's, I think, one of the first things that I always thought. And when I was 16, remember, I'm now sitting here speaking English. When I was 16, I did not even speak, I think, a word of English. I was so afraid. Of course, Mavo was very much Dutch oriented. And I was born in Holland, grew up in Bonaire. And I was still mixing up Papiamento and Dutch. And then English to me was like a little bit daring and foreign. And then the moment I stepped in Aruba and there everything was taught in English and everything was really American, they said the only thing that you need is basically the skill of active service. Just be you and do the best in terms of letting people feel comfortable, giving the best service, and in terms of just your smile, your attitude, your personality, the way you stand, the way you approach people. And everything else will be taught, will be learned along the way. And that to me was eye-opener, that in tourism is the only profession that you do not have to have a PhD to be able to be successful.
True.
The only thing you need to have is your personality, your attitude, the right mindset to be able to deliver the experience, the service, whatever it is. And that to me was, again, an additional eye-opener, because I didn't really enjoy studying and being too much in the book. So that to me was a practical side that I enjoyed, that, hey, I can really do this because this is about working with people, smiling and having fun and making sure that the other guest is enjoying for them to tip you, and then you're good.
You're good. Yeah, pretty much. And I would say I'm in the same boat as you, because I'm more a practice, not a more into the books also. So for me, learning on the job is the whole thing. So I get experience while I'm learning something new, you know. So it's the whole thing that I love about Horeca and tourism.
True.
But from Aruba, how long did you stay in Aruba?
So I did my associate's degree in 3 years in Aruba. It was a program of 3 years. Then I switched to Curacao. I went to the university here. Back then they had the Curicis at the UNA, and they had hospitality and tourism opleiding on HBO. I did that as well, the HBO, in 2 years instead of 4. Not because I was bright or very smart, just because I was working and doing what I love, tourism.
Gotcha.
So it felt so natural. It felt so good. It was easy for me to go to the lessons and school, and making sure I did like 2 years in one, and then my final year as well, very fast. But it was basically because I chose my passion, which is tourism. And then
that's fantastic.
After that, I went to Holland to do my master's. And I said, you know what? And back then it was in the news a lot about, the tourism industry, like, it's really shady. They don't know if it's in the future or if it's good, or not shady, but in terms of if you can really become, in my mindset, I want to become a millionaire, if you can become a millionaire working in tourism. So I said, okay, let me do my master's in something else. And I chose...
Maybe if anything happens.
If anything happens. It was basically that. So I chose to do it in entrepreneurship, a master's in entrepreneurship and consultancy. And at the end, it's tourism at the end as well, because it's business. So to me, it had the best combination of both worlds.
Nice. But is it like the steps that you took to be where you are right now? It's for some people that's just listening or watching, do they have to take all those steps to become as, let's say, as the place that you are right now?
Well, I always take two avenues as a explanation of it. So one is, of course, it sounds cool. Oh yeah, I did a master's, I did everything at the etc. But it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
It was hard work. It was as well a lot of dedication and let's say missed opportunities, that things that I had to stop doing because I was so focused on my career or my school. I had a passion for singing. I had my own album out. I had my own CD out. But again, I could not combine that lifestyle with my career because it was too heavy to do both very, very well. I had a passion for rapping, not anymore, but in any case, back then, I had a passion to do more things and beyond tourism, but I had to choose. But also, I knew that I wasn't the brightest in terms of wiskunde and things like that, so I knew as well that I had to work harder to be able to earn my spot.
Yeah.
So what I did is really, I started from the bottom in terms of just joining a hotel either in Bonaire or Curacao Aruba. I worked on all three islands as a waiter. I worked in housekeeping. I worked at front desk, and all of this in combination with my education. Why? Because I knew that if you want to have let's say a long-term career and you want to start seeing you grow in your career ladder, you need to start as early as possible and gain experience. And tourism, it's all about experience.
Yeah. Yes,
the more you can say I've worked in a bar or at a restaurant, the more or the better it is for your next step in your career.
Exactly.
And I was fortunate that I really nailed every step after each other, which gives me, I call it the trampoline for another position. And tourism, again, the turnover is high, so you can easily see those growth moments very, very fast. And to your question in terms of do you need a master's or do you need your higher education to become successful, it might help. It might open doors a little bit quicker than normal. But at the end of the day, until today, nobody really asked me about, oh, let me see your grades in school. They only asked me about experience, real life working experience, and past, let's say, reference of, okay, how was Miles in this position? And how was it in this position? So to me, it is more to complete your resume, but it does not define your future if you have a higher education or not.
And the thing is, it's really nice that when you said it, like, it's really important to grow in the business itself. It's something that you have to take your opportunities when you get them, because if you miss some of them, it's gonna hurt you, and
that's true.
So you got to be making a wise decision. Sorry, you got to make a wise decision though, but you have to take the opportunities, because me myself, being in this business, I'm almost 8 years in doing this. It's every step I take is it's almost a gamble, but you will see the result of it at the end. So that's really important.
And I'm sitting and watching you, and you are also what I call always a product of tourism development. And when I look at you, I remember I was very young as well at Chata, and I remember you coming in, you competing for a bartender competition. You were just the ordinary guy who had a big dream to be successful. And look at you today with your own bar and moving up and continually still growing, but you're still competing. You're still you're still humble. I saw you a few days ago still competing, so that means you're still hungry for growth.
Exactly.
And that is something that we need to make sure that we are never there. We're not there yet. And that means that we need to continue to invest, educate, grow, not only in terms of mindset and understanding, but also in terms of learning new things.
For sure.
And that, to me, I think you're a great example to many as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So this, I don't know if it's a hard question or not. Why? Because a lot of people when they go to Holland, they want to stay in Holland. Why didn't you stay and do tourism there?
Very good question. It had to do, I think, with a personal goal of mine. I think I love the ABC Islands, and it has to do with my upbringing, my dad being from Bonaire in Aruba, my mom from Curacao, and me growing up in Bonaire, Aruba, and Curacao gave me a platform that these islands gave me a foundation that is so beautiful in terms of childhood memories, in terms of where I feel the most at peace. And to me, it was always like the world is nice, and I love to travel. Believe me,
Yeah.
I'll see the whole world.
I saw.
But coming back to the ABC Islands, and especially these islands, to me, is again our responsibility to invest for future generations, because
sure.
I'm very thankful for everything that I've experienced on the ABC Islands, and I want to give back. Hence my sense of pride that brought me back. So it wasn't opportunity, because I'm going to share with you. I remember when I had to make a decision in 2011, and I was finishing my master's, and I had the opportunity to come and live and work in Curacao,
Yeah.
Chata, back
Yeah.
then. Very, very young. I was 23. And I had the opportunity to work in Sweden, Helsinki and Sweden, because I worked at Starwood Hotels in the Netherlands
Okay.
back then as a side job, and then they offered me opportunity full time, paid everything to move me to Sweden and to work there for a year, and then to London for a year. And it was awesome. I had everything arranged, and then even at the end, when I looked at both opportunities in Curacao, I would maybe make 30% of what I could have earned in Sweden,
Yeah.
in London. But still, my pride took over and said, you know what? I have this experience, but I also want to be part of the growth on island.
Yeah.
And I chose for the Curacao. And it doesn't mean that I chose for financial stability, but I chose for my own risk on investing back on the island that gave me
get
this
that.
opportunity. And especially, and it also boils down to, in Curacao or in Bonaire or in Aruba, you're not a number. You are Miles, or you are Francesco.
Yeah.
You have a name.
For sure.
But once you're in Sweden or you're standing in New York, you are a number one in line of thousands of others who have the same paper. And to me, I value the quality of life that resembles with us on these islands, where we're all human, and we all have a significant portion of importance for development, compared to being in a big city and you're all alone in your small apartment. It's nice, but you're still a number. And I want to be known by my name and not by a number that just passed by. So that's my personal dream.
I get that. I get that. I have almost the same feeling. I never wanted to leave the island. I wanted to go study, but at the same time, I didn't want to leave it because there's so much things. And I felt at that point when if I left the island, it's gonna stand still. It's just in my head, maybe,
Correct.
but
Right.
if I left it, like where I left it, it's gonna stand still. So
That's true.
I made a decision to like stay here and grow here,
That's true.
and take wherever it takes me.
That's true.
But one thing you said, like traveling, is I think it's really important to broaden the mind and see other cultures and stuff like that. It's really nice. But going to how did it all? You said it was Chata and London and Sweden, like. How did you get into Chata, and then how did the growth from almost nobody knew Miles to Miles is one of the everybody talking about?
Positive and negatively. It's always both. But
True.
it comes with the role and the package, but it doesn't matter. But to me, what is I think there isn't one clear ingredient I say this is what I did and that led me to that. But I do say that I gave it and I'm giving it my all in everything that I do. For example, I'm giving classes as a teacher at the University of Curacao. I'm giving it my 100% to make sure that the moment I stop, I leave a legacy behind. And the same way, if I worked in Holland or I worked in Bonaire, I can still go to my ex-employees in Aruba of the hotels. They know me by name because I needed to make sure that I worked so hard that you made a difference. That you say, oh. They always say everyone is replaceable. That's true.
Yes.
But then the only thing that you can leave behind is your feeling and your level of determination, commitment, and loyalty to whatever that you were doing.
Yeah.
And to me, it was a combination of that, but also the combination of daring to take risk. I'm a risk taker. I'm the one that can jump not from a plane that easily yet, but I'm a risk taker in business, risk taker in shaking up the normal. I do not believe and I do not want status quo, not only for my life but also in things that I do. And I think with not being the status quo, every day I wake up, I think, okay, what can we do that's different that we can stand out with? And that's where we invest our time, energy, and resources. And based on that, I have made several steps throughout my career, both locally and internationally, that there was something like, oh my God, like, okay, Chata, did you do that? Or
Yeah.
Miles, did you do that? Or did you do that together with this group of people? Because it's not always by yourself.
Exactly.
And those, I think, are the ingredients as well that people need to feel there is a difference in management, in feeling, in commitment, in the way you approach things, in the way you report. I do not have a problem with reporting.
Okay.
I need to report to somebody. I want to make sure that we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I want to hear your ideas as well. And that is something based of a leadership style that I have taken personally, based of not authority driven,
Yeah.
but more of we're a team and we do it together. And
Gotcha.
even if I look, for example, Flavors of Curacao, which
Yeah.
was out of nothing, we created the largest food festival on the island.
Exactly.
But we were the ones running the show in the back. We were grabbing the stuff. We were putting the dranghekken. We were
Yeah.
putting the flags down to make sure that it is what we see today. Oh, it's a beautiful event, and you just go. And to me, like all of those opportunities together with the team that I formed every time, we really invested our heart and soul in everything we do. And I think that is the secret to everything in life. As long as you do it with passion and you give it your all,
Yeah.
that's where you see the progress and the difference. Yeah.
It won't come immediately, but it will take
Nope.
time.
Patience.
Yeah, a lot
and
of
don't
patience.
believe me, I know our generation, we do not have patience.
Yeah, no,
I
not
test
at all.
myself as well and think, like, to me, I already wanted to be a millionaire by
Yeah.
the age by the time I was 35. I'm not there yet, not even close, but at least it was a dream that kept me moving.
Exactly.
And we need to have these types of aspirations to keep us moving. Otherwise, we fall into our comfort zone.
Exactly.
And comfort zone mindset, which means ang eta okay asina as na mistabong, and we do not try to excel. That means that we accept mediocrity, we accept status quo, and we
Yeah.
accept the environment as is. And I never settle for less. I always think it can be better. Even if it's successful today, I'm still thinking, what can we do to improve?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that is
yeah.
a mindset. It doesn't mean that you have to be a perfectionist, but it means that you always allow yourself to see opportunities for growth. And that is, I think, one of the ingredients as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That is something that a lot of, I think the for me, the mindset on the island is still not there yet to excel for success, or even in the business of F&B. It's still like, okay, whatever goes goes, and I will give you just a service. I won't give you the best service ever.
Right.
It's still looked upon as just I would say an extra money, or just a side job.
Correct.
It's not as it's not a job. It's not love. It's not a
Correct.
passion.
Correct.
You know, so that's a thing that not a lot of us on the island has, but I'm seeing it that it's growing, but still not the place that we want it to be.
Yeah.
So, but it's really nice that you say it like that. Yeah.
And it's those small details, and especially at the end of the day, tourism, it's everything and nothing about service. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else that you can do, even you can always apologize if the food wasn't good, or you can apologize if the drink maybe wasn't good, but it's about the approach. It's
Yeah.
the way you do it. And I always take some examples. For example, how beautiful it is that you walk in here and you know my favorite drink by heart.
Yeah.
So without even asking, you're already approaching me. Oh, do you want your usual?
Yeah.
Do you want this? So it means, oh, I'm noticed. Oh, it feels that I'm important
Exactly.
within your mindset. And for you, it's a quick note of understanding what people like.
Yeah.
Or even coming in, I was yesterday at a local fish place, and I walked in and they said, Purunchi. I said, oh yeah, como sa? No, Purunchi Budbi, Purunchi Sam. It's like, oh, it felt awesome.
Yeah.
And then I sat down, and they brought me an awilamunchi without sugar, which I always take without sugar. And then those are the small details, didn't cost them anything else, but
Yeah.
just a simple reminder, oh, like this guy wants awilamunchi without sugar, let me bring it in before he
even asked. Yeah.
And those are the small things at the end of the day. I think the tourism industry, and I think the service industry is all about. And if we get the understanding, the smallest understanding of these small details, everybody wants to be recognized, wants to be feel important, or wants to feel connected, belonging. We
Yeah.
all have it. If you look at the Maslow theory, they all talk about a certain feeling of belonging.
Yeah.
You want to walk in and you, oh, I belong here. Oh, I can have a dinner here. And it's about saying hi, welcome,
Exactly.
approaching, noticing by the eye.
Yeah.
And these are the small details that you would need. And everything else, even if the fish wasn't as good as the other
Yeah,
week,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, okay, but the experience
yeah.
counts.
They noticed me. They brought
Correct.
everything to me. Yeah,
Correct.
I get that. I get that. No, for sure, for sure. And how did you went from Chata to politics? I don't like talking about politics. I'm not gonna enter politics because yeah.
We're going to skip that.
Yeah, we gotta skip that. I don't like talking about politics. But how did you left like a stample here on the island for Chata, and then you went to Bonaire, and you're doing amazing things there. Like, how hard is it to create something out of nothing to something that's almost booming right now?
Well, it's, I think, a combination of several things as well. Of course, it's preparation meets opportunity. You have to be at the right timing as well to make these types of movements. If I talk to you or share with you maybe about Bonaire, Bonaire has always had a very special place in my heart. Why? To give you an example, I grew up there, so to me, Bonaire is also home.
Yeah.
But also, if I look at Bonaire, I used to work for the tourism board before I worked for Chata in Bonaire,
Okay.
which most people do not know.
I didn't
Back
know.
then, in 2010 and 11, I used to work with Ronela Chingoshu Cruz, which is currently the CEO of Aruba Tourism Authority, which we
Sure,
have very
nice.
good partnership with. And she was working there, and she saw me when I was 21 years old. She's like, "Oh, come and work for me." I started working. After that, I went to Holland for my master's, and
Yeah.
after that, I came to Curacao.
Okay.
But the beautiful thing was that for the tourism board, they paid for my master's education because they saw maybe a potential, or they saw my eagerness for growth, my
Yeah.
eagerness for passion for tourism. So I had the opportunity that until today, I did my master's without having had any student debt on it.
Nice.
So based on that, I always had a certain level of obligation, like,
Yes.
oh,
Yeah.
I need to go back to finish what I started in terms of giving back and making sure that everything that I've learned is also
Thank you to
passed on
them.
there.
Yeah.
And that is, to me, my personal story with Bonaire, that I went back currently in a cool new role as a part of the tourism board team in Bonaire. And I believe and I think of Bonaire similar to Chata when I started in 2011. It was a blank canvas.
Yeah.
Chata back then wasn't very known. Chata back then was very, let's say, a old school club, only closed off for certain owners of business people.
Yes.
But the world did not know about Chata or what he did, and they weren't very invested in the community.
Nope.
And that is something that we had the opportunity from blank canvas, and we created the future of Chata. Literally, of talking with each other. I know we came on with Vianney, Selena, a lot of people joined the team,
Yeah.
and we were so young, and we had the opportunity to create a blank canvas and fill it in based on a new perception, but not also new belief of the role of Chata in the tourism industry. And that's where everything started, and we started to see engagement, more popularity, more people following Chata, more people understanding the role of it. And we are very, very proud until today. And I think yesterday even we discussed it in a group chat, like, hey, like, we did all of this in the past 10 years. Wow. And that's similar to Bonaire at the moment, where we're at the blank canvas moment, and we have a master plan, and we're implementing and we're creating from new commercials to new website to new slogan branding. We just launched a new logo for the island. So it's so many
New
things.
York.
Correct. It's so many things that we're doing at the same time that gives us energy and gives me energy, and that to me is the foundation of the next 10 years of tourism for the island.
Nice.
So I'm giving it my all on that. So
Jesus. From being it's amazing that having a blank canvas and all of that to start from nothing and grow the I don't know if it's a business or it's a business, right? Pretty much.
The tourism is business.
That's it.
That's my motto. Yeah.
To grow a business like that. But is your team let's say your team, is it handpicked, or does people just come to you like, Miles, I want to work with you, and it just
Very
goes
good
like
question.
goes like boom, like that.
Very good question. I think it's a combination of both. I believe a lot in law of attraction, and your energy attracts the right people based
True.
on where you want to go. Most people do not believe in it. I do believe in law of attraction. I do believe in that your energy determines your path and what you will encounter every day. For example, if you're in a bad mood, believe me, your day
Will
will
be
turn out bad.
yeah.
If you're in a good mood and you attract that energy, people will see it, people will vibe with it, people will notice it. And to me, that is what attracted for the past, I think, 15 to 20 years, the people that I surrounded myself with,
Yeah.
from an amazing mentor such as our ex-gezagheber Lisanne Dindia, which was one of my mentors when I was 22, 23 years old, who saw the potential in me without me even knowing it, but just based off of energy, because I just applied for a position that I was unqualified for,
Yeah.
and still I got the opportunity based on my approach, based on the way that I spoke so passionately about what I want to do. And I think it really, really links up to that.
Yeah.
It's your energy, and you attract the people, and as well a little bit, maybe a little bit mensenkennis,
Yeah.
understanding of it. I have my personal goal every time is to be as emotionally intelligent as possible as a person. That means
Okay.
that I understand my feelings, I understand and act upon the way I see, the way I feel, the way I behave, the way something responds to me.
Yes.
And that's, I think, the term emotional intelligence in general. And that is something that I apply every day.
Okay. Okay. I just had to like figure that out. Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. No, it's nice, and like having that emotional intelligence, you in a way you understand what people are going through also, right?
Correct.
That's nice. That's
Correct.
nice.
And
Okay.
also, it means that you are aware of what triggers you. And to give you a quick example, emotional intelligence comes about, okay, if this irritates me, I know I can identify what was it. Maybe it's the way you sit, the way you talk to me, or maybe it's the way you approach me in the morning, whatever it is. And I can change that. If I'm aware of it, I can tell you, you know what, this and this irritates me every day. And if I can share it with you, you are aware of it, you will stop doing it. My day is better if I have to see you every day. So
Yes.
it's about making sure that we're on the same page and making sure I understand what irritates me, what motivates me, what gives me energy, and what attracts, absorbs energy
Yeah.
from me. So those are the things that you discuss when you talk about emotional intelligence, and that's also what I give at the University of Curacao
Shit.
as one of the classes in hospitality management, because it's always about managing people. The
Yes.
only thing is managing people, and how do you manage these emotions of people, which we all know people can be very, very
Emotional.
let's see.
Yes.
I want to say different word, but, it's in line, but yeah.
But we are emotional creatures, so what can we
So
say?
we need to, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and this the going back to the F&B or horeca or tourism, you handle with people, you handle with guests that come to the bar, that come to the restaurant, and they're all giving out. I'm looking at giving out our auras and moods and everything, and some of them have bad moods, some of them have good
Yeah.
moods, and is the way you attract and the way
That's true.
you have to, let's say, close off that bad aura, bad energy, is very important. And some people get caught up into that energy, and
That's
it
true.
absorbs them.
That's true.
Do you have any, let's say, any way to help somebody out if they're into something like that, to how to get away from that environment, or that yeah, out of that dip?
No, you
Yeah.
know, I think I have a workshop titled "Living Your Best Life," that I talk about this with people or businesses that I work with.
Is it something we have to pay for this? Because then we
No,
have
no,
to.
I'm gonna share. I'm gonna share. I'm gonna charge you one for doing that. But a simple example goes to, as a human being, we sometimes we are afraid of being selfish. And the selfish used to be a negative word in terms of still today, if people say you're selfish, that means ay, bala negative, what miss.
Exactly.
But selfish to me goes further than just watching for yourself. It goes as well you choosing who you spend your time with, who do you surround yourself with, you choosing what career choices you make or what do you want to do on a daily basis. It's a choice.
Yeah.
Similar to falling in love. We all talk about falling in love and it's awesome, but falling in love is easy. Staying in love, remaining committed is a choice.
Yes.
That's it. No butterflies. There's nothing there to it. There's two people coming together and they make a conscious decision. You know what? You are worth it to be standing next to me for the next 50 years or 60 years of my life. And it's a choice.
Yes.
There will be no butterflies, nothing else that will be pushing you, but it's a choice. And based on that, I always talk about having your selfish mindset to choose to, for example, I always say, surround yourself with the ones who are grateful, inspiring to you, the ones who are always happy for you in terms of they want to see you grow, and the ones as well that celebrate your achievements and vice versa. Because if you expect that, you need to expect that too. And I'm going to give you an example. How many times on, for example, social media, if I see Francesco open up a bar, I would say, no, you me say James, so me no quiero si Francesco, me no much saying, but no quiere mes king it no. I want to make sure the world knows that my friend opened up a bar. I want to know that the world knows that my friend brought a new house or a new car or that he or she graduated. But the only thing that we share is about everyone else, if it's Beyonce or it's Kanye West that do not need us, or we share about something negatively, maybe it's a porn thing that leaked, or we do it because Vigilante or TV Direct shared something that's breaking news. But nos conos mes, we do not support and promote each other. We don't celebrate that. And that to me, again, if I just look at the world of social media, which is 80% of our energy comes from that, or it got removed from that. I always say that you need to make sure that you choose the ones around you who are your pushers, even your naysayers, to say, you know what, you can do better, and who are there for you. And that is something that you bemachtigt as selfish in life, in business, in things that you do.
But it's also because the way we were raised, being selfish is a bad thing, and it's a thing that we with ourselves we have to create it or teach ourselves to be selfish. And I think the journey for that is hard.
And that's emotional intelligence, and that is about understanding what drives you, understanding your mindset, and you need to have what I always say, a resilient mindset.
For sure.
That means you need to be able to go with the flows of life, understand the flows of life, challenge the flow of life, because otherwise, if something knocks you down, you will fall. But you need to stand up fall down 7 times, stand up 8. You need to continue to push yourself. And even if I look at, for example, politics that we did not want to discuss, some people still today perceive it as something so negative, and now say, mas bapera election. Oh, you did not get a vote, or you did not get enough votes to win a seat in parliament. That's okay. It's part of the journey. It's part of growth. It's part as well of understanding. And I have something so personal and dear to me right now that not many other people can experience in their lifetime. And I can say I did it. Was it successful? Did I learn from it? That we can always debate on it, but it's something that you need to own your moments of growth, your moments of let's say celebration, but also your downfalls. Because at the moment when you lose an election, believe me, it kills you. It puts you down. It really puts you in a position that eigenlijk you bonotini gani biba. But all of that is based on what will other people think? What will other people say? And they always thought that you're this and this and this, but you lost that. But losing doesn't mean that you're wrong. It doesn't determine your destiny. Your opinion of somebody does not determine the destiny of a person. But to me, it's more about in our culture, how do we promote these types of, let's say, moments in our life that we also celebrate, that we can say, hey, mi non lo say, pero I'm still happy that I did it.
Yeah.
I'm still convinced that I made the right choices, and now I continue to grow. And thanks to that, I'm now in a different phase of my life, doing exactly what my law of attraction was. I wanted to be a global citizen. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to have clients, businesses around the world. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So even though maybe one door closed, another door opened. And we need to be mindful and understanding of those things in life, that not everything means it's a closed chapter. It means the beginning of a new chapter that you are responsible to fill in.
Yeah. Even the amount of hurt it gives you, it's something else.
Correct.
It's
Correct.
maybe it's not. It wasn't meant for you, and it's
Correct.
something bigger is coming.
Something bigger, and use that energy that you feel. Use that energy towards something positive. And another example that I had when I was 16 was that I finished MAVO, and society told me, even with friends, family, like, oh my God, even my brother, like, they all finished HAVO. HAVO meant you're awesome, you are smart. You always see it HAVO written "Miyo gradua" on the cars in June. But when you finish MAVO, you don't see a lot of celebration, like, oh my God, I'm happy for my kid. Now I see some differences, but back then in 2004, I think it was, or I think it wasn't like that. So the moment that I finished MAVO, and I had such a determination that I need to go to HAVO, and I remember the school coordinator told my parents, with me sitting next to them, was that Minyobuyu by MBO, G's by MBO numa pa sobra nota kere kumita fit pa HAVO. And I was like, di kumita fit, like, I finished MAVO so I could enter. No, but based on your grades, my grades wasn't that wow. Based on my grades, they said they do not believe that I can go to HAVO. And then they said, no, I said I wanted to go. And then they said, okay, if you really want to go, you have to go to derde HAVO. So you need to go a step back. Not the fourth HAVO, but the third. I said, okay. So I went home. And I felt back then like, okay, the day before, I was so happy because I graduated. The next day, I got the news that I cannot go to HAVO, where all my friends are going, which because society told me that is a norm that for you to be successful. And then the next day I said, you know what? This lady's opinion or this coordinator's opinion will not determine my future. And I made my own decision when I was 16, very intelligent in terms of emotionally, not in terms of books, but just street march in my mind. Like, okay, this means I need to step up and work on my own future and believe that I can become a professional in tourism, not going to HAVO. That's why I went to MBO, to HABO, to Masters. Not because that I wanted to specifically, because I hated school a little bit, but I did it express with an energy to showcase that I can also have my master's degree with my MAVO diploma. And I finished when I was 21. I did everything in what they called a versnelde opleiding, just to prove a point to a person. And that means I used that energy in a positive way.
Exactly.
At the end, I never went back to say, hey, this is what I got. But at the end of the day, it talks about that energy could have made me lose the battle and say, okay, I'm not worth it. Or no, prove and make sure to use the energy towards something bigger and better that will reward you in life.
Yeah, pretty much. Wow. wow. Okay. Nice. But when we're talking about mental and mental health and everything that's going on, because everything is a battle between us and us, pretty much first, and then we can give it out there. In tourism, Horeca, is it even looked upon as something, or let's say on the island, is it even something that people take for granted? Mental health?
I think we all take it for granted, and especially in our, let's say, our macho culture, especially amongst peers. Most of the time, Henne Homer, we don't talk about our emotions.
No.
We don't talk about things that keep us awake at night. We all have those nights where your brain is just your
Constantly,
mental
yeah.
is just thinking, and you're like, shit, you want to stop. You do not know your way forward.
Exactly.
And to me, everyone deals with it differently. Personally, I deal with it with writing. If I
Okay.
look at, for example, my Instagram account, the things that I post, I do not post to say, oh, I went to dinner here. I talk about my life. And that
Exactly.
is not something for people to read. If you want to read it, you can
Yeah.
read it. But to me, it's more about riding heels. And if I put my thoughts down, either it's something that I'm thinking about, or thinking that I'm trifling about, or things that I'm thinking, you know what, is this worth it? Even about, okay, will I be able to marry a person one day? Like the weirdest things that come to your mind that keeps you up at night, I write about it. And I do it because it is a way for me to send out the energy that is bottling up inside
Yeah.
into a piece of paper, and to understand the flow of my thoughts. And most of the
Okay.
time, you will find your answers in writing, based on you will be able to see clearly, and it sounds like a
Yeah.
song, but you will be able to see clearly in your mind, in your mindset of, okay, what is the train of thought? And to
Gotcha.
me, that is my way of doing it. But everyone else has a different way. Some people journal, some people write on socials, some people just talk to somebody.
Yeah.
But it all depends on how you do it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And it's something that when there's too much going on, especially the now age, the this time of when we're, let's say, these couple of years, yeah, pretty much everything's moving fast. Everything's going super fast.
Yeah.
Like if you lag for a second, everything will pass you by.
That's true.
How important is it to stop and leave everything behind? Because it's not something I went a little off
No,
Horeca and
it's
something,
good.
but is because people tend to think that it's always time to go, 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 go. But once in a while you have to stop. When is it the time to stop? Because when you burn out, it's already too late.
Correct. You need to plan those moments in your life, in your journey.
Okay.
It is not something that you need your body to tell you when to do it. You need to do it before if your body is telling you to stop because you became sick, you got a burnout, or you don't have energy anymore, and you do not know why you're only sleeping, that means it's already too late. To me, I celebrate every moment. I close off every moment, and I look at it as everything as a project.
Okay.
If it's work, even if you're working full time at a place, look at it as a project. There's a start date and there's an end date. And what do I want to achieve within that period? And then you move on. That means you have left that chapter behind. If you keep on dragging on in the same journey, you will never feel like, okay, I've reached the end, I've reached the goal. And we need to set our boundaries and goals based on that. If it's, for example, your car or your house or your family or a relationship or even a job, whatever it is, there's always, you need to have those moments, okay, this is where I feel that I've accomplished it. Otherwise, you will be dwelling on a future moment, future event that will never happen,
Like
and
a
you will
what
never
if.
reach it. And what if?
Yeah.
And I always say, just be clear to yourself. If it's something that, for example, you have a bar, you will not be working here for the next 50 years.
Yeah.
But what is your ending? What is your target? What do you want to achieve? Do you want to have a brand? Do you want to have it as a international chain that you have 6 bars in the region? Work on it. That means the moment you're done for your next step, you let this be operational and you move on. Otherwise, you will be caught up in a journey that feels like, okay, I'm not moving. And at the end of the day, you will reach your ceiling. And people, similar to anyone else in life, do not want to feel trapped in the ceiling.
Yeah.
They always want to see what else,
Yeah.
what's more, what's next. And that next is your decision that you need to make your decision upon.
Okay. Now, that's something that I wanted to hear from you, and it's really nice to really hear it because I'm a person that I don't plan ahead. I don't schedule a lot of stuff, so it's more of a okay. I plan a week, 2 weeks, but I don't plan like my whole future because I don't know what's there, you know. So
But you need to dream about it.
I dream about it. I know what I want, but I don't plan it because everything is a journey, and just like you said, it's steps by steps. You
If
gotta
I
make
ask
it.
you what's your ultimate dream in life, what would you answer today? I'm gonna switch the roles now. So.
Yeah. You really switch it. For me, like there was a dream like to become at a point bar owner to bar manager, bar owner. When you're getting to that, it's is there, you know? Um, I want to travel. I want to travel with bartending. It's for me. I just want to get the from the start. The That's why I didn't leave the island, especially, is because I had opportunity to go to the States. I have an opportunity to go to Holland. So, but I wanted to grow the bartender industry to a point that I'll be internationally looked like. Yes, Curacao has potential also to be on that world level, you know, and that's is a dream of mine to take it, to help it to grow, to get to that point. That's I think, my goal for
Okay.
life.
For life. Okay, so you would want to make sure that your passion drives you to the world and that you will be recognized on a global level based on your passion, on your qualities, your
Exactly.
skills, and to make sure that you're leaving a footprint behind everywhere.
Yes.
And those are, I think, dreams which you need to identify with concrete invulling of how does it look like
Okay.
from your clothes that you want to wear, and that's law of attraction, to your first city where you want to be, to your first venue where you want to play. You need to be as accurate as possible in your endeavors to even maybe the month or season of the year. And that to me is dreaming with a mission, dreaming with a purpose.
Yes.
And that will allow your mind and your energy to focus on it. And it's similar when you make, for example, your vision board.
Yeah.
Your vision board talks about being as specific as possible of what is the feeling, the ingredients, what you want to see. If it's a Wrangler, if it's a red Wrangler you want, make sure you put a red Wrangler as a picture. Do not just put a Toyota Yaris.
Yeah.
Then you will not see it.
Yeah.
And we need to visualize our dreams, and we need to dream with purpose, dream with a mission.
Gotcha.
And that to me is the definition of dreaming big, but also about making sure that our island dreams big. And most of the time, I feel, especially when you talk on the streets with people, we as an island, we do not dream big.
Yeah.
If you ask, and that's, I think that was my purpose in politics, was I think that's why we call it vision.
Yeah.
If you ask a somebody, a Yudico Shao today, where do you want to be in 50 years or 40 years as an island? We do not know.
Nope.
We do not know where we're going. We do not know what type of country do we want to be. What do we want to be remembered for?
Yes.
What will be our biggest asset? Even if we say we want to have the Silicon Valley on the island of Curacao with Google and Tesla located on Curacao,
Yeah.
it can become a reality
Yeah.
if we dream and make it happen, but with a purpose, with a vision, with a mission. And oftentimes I believe that we only discuss about what happened in the past,
Yes.
and we discuss non-everyday issues about King Taku King, who's that, who's wearing that, and
Yes.
we are afraid of seeing beyond something that is a reality. And
sure.
that is the kracht, as they say, the power of looking ahead in the future. And does
sure.
not have to do with planning. It starts with giving invulling of where we want to be in 40, 50 years, similar to you as a person and where you are today.
Yeah, pretty much. It's because when you're planning and when you do, it's sometimes in my head, it's difficult to have planning, but it's so at a point it's scary because you're not sure if it's if it's that's what is going to be. You know,
And
it's
the,
it's a
and,
scary part.
the moment that your dreams scare you, that's where you know that you're really, really dreaming. The
Gotcha.
moment that you just say, for example, oh, I want to buy a house and a new car when I grow up, that's not a dream.
No.
That's something that we all have to do regardless of
Yeah.
what we're doing. But your dream goes beyond that, and
Yeah.
it needs to wake you up at night and you think about it.
Yeah.
It needs to be something that all of a sudden your feeds on your Instagram become related to that dream.
Dream,
Either
yeah.
you're following a person that's doing the same, or you're doing like it needs to be connected, and that's what I think. I always say everything in life is connected, and it starts with you connecting the dots and putting the dots in place and to play the chess game.
Jesus. Man, I think I'm stopping it right here. No. It was fantastic. It's amazing. It's amazing, man. Thank you very much for dropping a lot of knowledge, and
Thank you.
especially something very thoughtful, and that I think the viewers also and the listeners can learn
Thank you.
from about mental health and all those stuff, because I think a lot of people, and even me, needed help with that. So I really thank you, and I think, yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very
I
much.
appreciate the opportunity, and thanks for scheduling me in. I'm going to have a drink in a bit. We
Yeah.
need to finish off our drink, but to me as well, thanks for being you and for opening up the door for young professionals to see locals thinking big and starting their own business.
Yes.
And you have all my support.
Thank you, man.
Everywhere I can go, I always refer people to you and what you're doing with your team. And
Thank you.
I really, really salute you for making these steps, but dream bigger, because
Yeah.
I know that you can.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you very much for joining us on this episode with Miles. And yeah, there's nothing else to say. See you guys next time. Deuces. Remember, Bebe Kumi, no sing me.